morning, both of which will be familiar to most of you. First, we will hear Luke's version of Jesus calming a storm, and then Matthew's version of Jesus walking on the sea. These have been traditionally understood as miracle stories, but for first century Mediterranean people, these would not have been about physical miracles at all. Rather, for them, these were stories about honor, the highest virtue in their culture. And these stories are cosmological in nature, giving Jesus authority over mighty winds and powerful storms, a high honor indeed. With this in mind, you are invited to hear these stories as if for the first time. If these are more than physical miracles, then what are the storms that Jesus calms? And what is the power that he possesses that gives him the ability to calm? What is it about this Jesus of Nazareth, born a peasant, that such immense honor would be bestowed on him by so many others? Reading from Luke chapter 8, verses 22 to 25. One day, Jesus got into a boat with his disciples, and he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side of the lake." So they put out, and while they were sailing, he fell asleep. A windstorm swept down on the lake, and the boat was filling with water, and they were in danger. They went to him and woke him up, shouting, "Master, Master, we are perishing." And Jesus woke up and rebuked the wind and the raging waves. They ceased, and there was a calm. He said to them, "Where is your faith?" They were afraid and amazed and said to one another, "Who then is this that he commands even the winds and the water, and they obey him?" And now reading Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 27. Immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And after he dismissed the crowds, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone, but by this time the boat, battered by the waves, was far from the land, for the wind was against them. And early in the morning he came walking toward them on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, saying, "It is a ghost!" And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.